Ciao a tutti e benvenuti alla nuova puntata di The Stanley Parable. Abbiamo visto già diversi finali relativi a questo gioco, ma ci manca ancora molto da esplorare in realtà. Possiamo anche ancora dire molto su questa simulazione, la chiamerei più che gioco. E vi invito subito a guardare una cosa nel menu di gioco. C'è già il senso, diciamo, di tutto il gioco è racchiuso nel menu. Perché ci sono io che sono... In questo momento sto usando un computer che mi fa vedere a sua volta lo schermo di un computer. Vedete, se io muovo il mouse, anche nel computer del gioco si muove il mouse e così via a ripetizione all'infinito. Quindi chi l'ha detto che sono io l'ultima pedina del gioco? Potrebbe esserci qualcuno che mi sta manovrando, come io sto manovrando Stanley. Io sono Stanley. Io sono quello che è giocato in questo gioco. Cos'è veramente un gioco? Eccoci qua. Proviamo ad andare di qua.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Obiettivi. Ah, così un po' classica lavagna di obiettivi che ci si pone, no? In una riunione. C'è anche Get Chris out of the broom closet. Tira fuori Chris dall'armadio delle scope. Il famoso armadio delle scope, chissà cosa succede lì dentro. Chi ha spostato il scrivente? The future was yesterday. Tomorrow is now. Il futuro era ieri, il domani è adesso. Ti sembra il motto di una nuova console della nuova generazione. Ecco, un altro dettaglio qua, poi si potrebbe parlare un po' di queste cose, però. Impiegato 417, 405, 491, 461, Jim. Solo Jim è chiamato con il suo nome. Gli altri sono tutti numeri. Non avevo mai notato questa cosa. A volte funziona così, no? Siamo tutti dei numeri per gli altri. Per le grandi istituzioni, per la società. Invece no, ci deve essere qualcuno tra di noi, e speriamo tutti noi, che ha bisogno, che ha il coraggio di firmarsi Jim. Ma posso anche abbassarmi, guarda che bello. Jim. Jim sei tutti noi. Guarda, non l'ho neanche fatto apposta. Everyone is unique, you most of all. Tutti sono unici, tu più di tutti. Però detta così sembra una presa in giro. I grafici. Per favore, basta. Molto attuale tra l'altro sta cosa dove andiamo avanti sentendo parlare di numeri, di curve, di statistiche. Alla fine sono tutti modelli matematici che non si corrispondono mai alla realtà. Che adesso in realtà sto facendo un video un video mentre io guardo all'interno di un gioco un video. Litigi tra colleghi in ufficio. Interessante soffermarsi a guardare tutte queste cose. Andiamo nell'armadio delle scope.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Invece no, stavolta rimango. Posso chiudermi dentro. Ecco.
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here. It was baffling that Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Are you really still in the broom closet? Standing around doing nothing?
Si sta spazientendo il nostro narratore.
Please offer me some explanation here. I'm genuinely confused.
No, non te ne do le spiegazioni.
You do realize there's no choice or anything in here, right? If I'd said Stanley walked past the broom closet, at least you would have had a reason for exploring it to find out.
Non è vero
It
che
didn't even occur to me because literally this closet is of absolutely no significance to the story whatsoever.
La
I
storia
never
non è
would have
fatta
thought to
solo di
mention
momenti
it.
di azione, ma anche di contemplazione. Io ora contemplo questa mensola con gli
Maybe to
attrezzi.
you this is somehow its own branching path. Maybe when you go talk about this with your friends, you'll say, "Oh, did you get the broom closet ending? The broom closet ending was my favorite." I hope your friends find this concerning. Stanley was fat and ugly and really, really stupid.
grasso è brutto.
He probably only got the job because of a family connection. That's how stupid he is. That or with drug money. Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Ah, pure? Questo insinua,
Well, I've come to a very definite conclusion about what's going on right now. You're dead. You got to this broom closet, explored it a bit, and were just about to leave because there's nothing here when a physical malady of some sort shut down your central nervous system and you collapsed on the keyboard. Well, in a situation like this, the responsible thing is to alert someone nearby so as to ensure that your body is taken care of before it begins to decompose. Hello? Anyone who happens to be nearby? The person at this computer is dead. He or she has fallen prey to any number of your countless human physiological vulnerabilities. It's indicative of the long-term sustainability of your species. Please remove their corpse from the area and instruct another human to take their place at the computer, making sure they understand basic first-person video game mechanics and filling them in on the history of narrative tropes in video gaming, so that the irony and insightful commentary of this game is not lost on them. All right, when you've done that, just step out into the hallway.
invece no, non esco. C'ho shocker. Vediamo se... Sono in lockdown. Non esco. Ho paura degli altri, non voglio contagiarmi. Succederà qualcosa veramente oppure no? Allora, oh,
Ah, second player. It's good to have you on board. I guarantee you can't do
Ma
any
pensa che
worse
tu
than
sia
the
un
person who
secondo
came before
giocatore.
you. You too? Unbelievable. I'm at the mercy of an entire species of invalids.
Mi
Perhaps there's a
dissocio.
monkey nearby you can hand the controls to. A fish? Fungus? Look, you can hammer out the details. I'm not particularly picky. I'll just be waiting for when you're ready to pick up the story again.
Vabbè.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Invece io scendo.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why
questo
had
qua
he
l'avevamo già
taken that
visto.
risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished.
Vuol dire se
His
cambiava
boss would
qualcosa.
think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Comunque è simile a un girone infernale sta cosa, perché tutte le scelte portano comunque a tornare nel tuo ufficio. Cioè un loop continuo.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Adesso voglio provare a entrare.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up. Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Volevi. Centro di nuovo. Vabbè, dai.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Allora.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Stavolta proviamo a scappare.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Ah, di là.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Vedremo.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Così, morto. Ah, no.
As the machine whirred into motion, Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise. He reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Aia. Vabbè, farò una cura dimagrante.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws.
Chi è stato?
In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
E invece no. Sono ancora vivo. Si è fermato. E allora?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever.
Appunto.
What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Bello.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making
bella sta
life
frase.
the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Eravamo già morti prima di iniziare il gioco. Perché se uno accetta il fatto che tutte le sue mosse sono manovrate da una trama già scritta, è già morto prima di iniziare. La scrivania, sono tutte le porte, proprio come fosse il set di un cinema, di un film. Credits, giustamente. Gli autori. Cioè, è una specie di museo. Boss office. Office clock. Freedom ending. Sì, abbiamo visto l'altra volta. Countdown room. Freedom ending. E la beta. Monitor room elevator. L'ufficio. Ah, le diverse versioni dell'ufficio, le varie fasi dello sviluppo del gioco. No, dai. Han chiesto alla gente di mandare le mail al narratore. Greetings, omnipotent voice. Salve, voce onnipotente. Fantastico. Al telefono. C'era un timer prima. Penso ci manchino ancora dei finali. Almeno. Cos'è sta roba? Bello.
Oh, look at these two.
Che non me
How
l'aspettavo.
they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Spegniamo il gioco. Basta con questa farsa.
Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another?
Ma che il narratore è io?
No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop. stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time
Ouch. Sono morto? La mia unica vera scelta è quella di chiudere il gioco e di fare qualcos'altro. Cioè il gioco mi sta dicendo, adesso tu esci dal gioco e inizi la tua vera vita. Perché qua qualcun altro ti sta dicendo quello che devi fare. Che ne pensate? Sì, ma io vorrei... Ah! Il gioco in pausa. Ritorno. Non posso fare niente. C'è lo schermo nero, non posso fare niente, ragazzi. Cioè, vuoi dirmi che posso solo ricominciare? Cominciamo il gioco. Tanto io ho salvato lì, quindi se fosse.
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. No, the orders were still missing.
È cambiato di
For
nuovo,
now.
però. Cioè, continua a cambiare il gioco. Non è sempre lo stesso.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Sarà uno.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go
No.
up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
L'ha chiuso. No. Tremendo.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Se provo a ricominciare.
Already this was uncomfortable, and Stanley decided that as soon as he found a new space he felt safe in, that he would never leave it again in his life.
Adesso la porta si è richiusa. Adesso vado a destra.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the... This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes,
Bello.
truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death.
Yeah.
Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Mi prende in giro anche. Cos'è sta riga? Cos'è sta riga?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Non era mai
Stanley
successo.
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Mamma mia, ragazzi. Tremenda sta cosa. Beh, ragazzi, qua abbiamo visto come quella frase di chi era quella tizia, quell'altra narratrice che è intervenuta, che ci ha fatto spegnere tutto, che voleva fermare la pressa. Che strano. Sta evolvendo in un modo inaspettato questo gioco. Per la cosa più che fa più pensare quella frase, come dire, tu l'unica vera scelta che puoi fare è chiudere il gioco. Ma che sia una critica ai videogiochi in generale, o al fatto che in realtà stiamo tutti vivendo un'esperienza fittizia e non lo sappiamo. Sono tante domande che mi vengono in mente che può ispirare questa situazione che abbiamo trascorso in questo gioco. Beh, continueremo la prossima volta vedendo di sbloccare qualche altro finale. Alla prossima.